So I've gathered my supplies for this layout, and this is the Crate Paper Maggie Holmes confetti paper that I've chosen, that I've had my stash for a while, and with it I've paired a journaling card from the Happy Birthday collection, as well as some acrylic pieces from the Happy Birthday collection by LA Studio, a couple of die cuts from Pink Paisley's Birthday Bash collection, as well as the LA Studio Happy Birthday stamp and some older Heidi Swapp rub-ons that I have. So I'm using a couple of older products in this page. So I've printed out my photo at 3 inches by 4 inches, black and white, and then I've added a border. So it's about 3 1/4 by 4 1/4, and it pretty much, the way the paper is laid out, pretty much tells me exactly where my photo needs to go, which is the only place that it fits, right in that little spot there. So what I'm trying to figure out is how I'm going to add my journaling. So what I'm going to do is create a little booklet that I can fold up my photo and find the journaling underneath. I'm just trying to figure out how exactly I'm going to do this. And I'm going to grab a piece of white cardstock to adhere my photo onto. So what I want to do is create about 1/4 of an inch spine on the left side. So I'm going to trim this white cardstock down to match my paper, leaving an extra about 1/4 of an inch on the left side. Okay, next I'm going to take out my scoring board and just score along that left side on the border with my photo, because that's going to be the edge of my spine. Next, I'm going to take my journaling card and figure out where I need to cut it so that I can make that the second page of my little booklet here. And I need to keep in mind that I need to add the 1/4 inch on the left-hand side. So I can't put that white journaling spot evenly horizontally on the card, because I have to add that extra 1/4 of an inch on the left side. So I keep trimming a little bit more from the right side of the card, just so that I can allow myself some extra room on the left side. And then all I have to do is cut 1/4 of an inch from the top and from the bottom. And once I have that cut, I'm going to do the same thing that I did with the white cardstock and just score it along the left-hand side. So this washi tape was sitting at the top of my washi bin, and obviously I haven't opened it before, but it caught my eye because it has numbers on it, and since this is a birthday party layout, I thought that would be helpful. Plus I liked that kind of citrine yellow color. Now it is a bit brighter than the one on the page, the background pattern paper, but I also think that it will be a great way to draw your eye to the photo because the background pattern paper is so bold and there's so much color on it. I think the photo can kind of get lost. So this is a way to really make the photo stand out. So what I'm doing is just placing this on the spine of my white cardstock. Before I adhere the two pages together, I'm going to go ahead and print my journaling onto the journaling tag. So my journaling is printed, you can see it there, and I'm going to go ahead and put this little booklet together. I'm going to adhere my photo with dimensional adhesive, but before I do that, I want to go ahead and put the little booklet together with some mini staples. And I did that right on the spine so that it opens really easily. And I completely apologize for the noise of the lawnmowers. It's impossible to find a day of the week where there isn't a lawnmower noise in my neighborhood. And it's always when I'm filming a video. So my apologies for that. Before I stick this down, I want to put this little tab, I want to layer it between the cardstock and my photo. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Okay, so now that that's put together, I'm going to go ahead and adhere this with permanent adhesive to the page. Okay, now for the embellishment. So I pulled out some of those die cuts from Pink Paisley Birthday Bash collection. And they all match the colors on the left side of the page. So I'm just going to try to play with these a little bit. I like how this tag incorporates kind of all of the colors that I have on my background pattern. And this celebrate tag, it doesn't feel right to me, so I keep moving it around a little bit. I'm going to see if I can make any of these acrylic candles from the LA Studio Happy Birthday mini collection work. But I have such little space from my pattern paper to my photo that it's really hard to get them to fit in. And if I put it on my photo, it would stick out quite a bit. It would be just a bit two-dimensional, I think. So I'm going to put those aside for now. I really want to do something in that coral color at the top of my photo. So quite often when I need to make something work and I can't find something in my stash that will work, I pull out stamps and inks because I generally have most of the ink colors that I would use on a layout. So for this one I'm going to use the solid balloon and the outline balloon. And I'm going to stamp the solid balloon in a lighter coral and the outline in a darker coral. And I'm just going to check to see how it's going to look here and how the color matches. And that's a really, really close match, so I think we're going to go with that. I'm just going to test the outline as well. And it's a slight difference, but I think we're going to go with it. Okay, so here we go with a solid first. And I just had to double check a couple of times because I was getting the two colors mixed up, so make sure you check twice and stamp once. And because I'm not stamping on, special stamping paper, the image didn't turn out as great as I had hoped. So I'm going to go back and just stamp it again. That's the great thing about using clear stamps, is that you can see where you stamped before. Okay, round number 2. And that one looks a lot better. I'm going to go ahead and do the outline as well, but since I stamped the base color twice, you can't really tell much of a difference. And I'm getting my head close to the camera for this one, just to make sure that I can see what I'm doing here. Just to finish that little balloon off, I'm going to draw a little string with gray marker. So I'm really happy with adding that little pop of coral to the top of my photo there. And I'm going to adhere this die cut to the bottom corner of my photo. So next what I want to do is just add some really tiny embellishments that kind of radiate out from my photo. So Shamel mentioned in her second post for this challenge that you really shouldn't hold on to rub-ons, and she's definitely right about that. I've held on to these for too long, so I really need to use them up. And what I'm doing is just cutting out some of the light coral and the green and the dark coral to kind of disperse around my photo. And I'm cutting them all out individually so I can place them first. And I'm definitely going to edit out a lot of this section because I had a bear getting these rub-ons on neatly. First I used a bone folder, and then I pulled out a spatula to try to get them onto my page completely. So don't hold on to your rub-ons, use them. That's the public service announcement for the day. Okay, in addition to the rub-ons, I'm going to put on some sequins, which I always love. I just like how they add a little bit of sparkle without being glitter, because I cannot stand glitter, and these are kind of the next best thing. Plus, I'm going to use a couple of these stars to partially cover up the rub-ons that didn't do too well for me. And in this little random sequin pack, I have some of that perfect kind of light, dirty yellow color. I don't know how I have that sequin color, but I do. So that's pretty lucky. And I usually work in groups of 3 or 5, so I'll put 3 of the same color around. That's kind of usually the way I do things. So I'm just using glue dots to adhere these on. I find this to be much neater than using liquid glue, and you don't have to wait for it to dry. So on this happy birthday stamp, there is a tiny little kind of like sparkle asterisk. I don't know what you would call it exactly. I would call it like a sparkle. And I've used this quite a few times. I just find it's a really nice little filler. And I'm just stamping that in like a greeny teal color. And last but not least, enamel dots. I kind of have to have them, I think, pretty much on every project that I do. It's just a different texture. So, you know, I have sequins, I have stamping, I have rub-ons, and this is just a bit more dimensional than all of those. So thanks so much for joining me for this process video in which I used a pattern paper that I've had lying around for quite a while. Be sure to join in with Shamel's challenges for the month of June using the hashtag scrapbooking is my superpower on Instagram, and check out Shamel's Instagram account to see all of the challenges for the month. Thanks and happy creating!